This is what the narcissist secretly haunts about you now. After a long break, time has passed. The immediate chaos has subsided. You've navigated the painful initial stages of separation from a narcissist, and perhaps you've even begun to find a semblance of peace, a quiet reclaiming of your own life. But in the stillness, a persistent question might surface, a nagging curiosity that can feel both compelling and unsettling. What are they thinking about me now? After all this time, after the distance and the silence, what occupies their thoughts when or if they ever consider you? Do they miss you? Do they regret their actions? Or is their internal landscape a completely different realm, one that you might struggle to even comprehend? If you've ever found yourself wondering about the lingering presence you might hold in the mind of a narcissist after a significant separation, then this discussion is for you. Today, we're going to delve deep into the complex and often distorted inner world of the narcissistic personality, exploring what a narcissist secretly thinks about you long after you've gone. This isn't about opening old wounds or fostering false hope. It's about gaining crucial enlightenment into their enduring pathology, validating your experiences, and ultimately solidifying your understanding of why your decision to separate was the right one for your well-being. Prepare to uncover the hidden narratives that might still revolve around you in their minds, even from a distance. Let's bravely and with clear eyes explore the intricate and often unsettling inner workings of the narcissistic mind in the aftermath of a significant separation. And as we unravel these hidden thought processes, I humbly invite you to subscribe to our channel. Hit that like button to help this enlightening message reach more yearning hearts, and share this video with anyone who is seeking to understand the enduring impact of a narcissistic relationship. Your engagement is invaluable and helps us continue to shed light on these critical topics. To truly understand what a narcissist secretly thinks about you after a long separation, we must first reiterate that their thought processes are fundamentally different from those of individuals with healthy emotional development and empathy. Their internal world is driven by a relentless need for narcissistic supply, a fragile sense of self that relies entirely on external validation, and a deep-seated inability to take genuine responsibility for their actions or experience authentic remorse. Their thoughts about you will therefore be filtered through this distorted lens, primarily focusing on how you impact their sense of self, their need for control, and their access to supply, even from a distance. Firstly, a narcissist likely thinks about you as a past source of narcissistic supply, evaluating the quality and quantity of what you once provided. Even after a long separation, their mind may revisit the good old days, not with fondness or nostalgia for genuine connection, but as a mental inventory of the attention, admiration, validation, or even negative reactions you once readily offered. They might remember specific instances where you boosted their ego, catered to their needs, or reacted emotionally to their manipulations, cataloging these as successful supply grabs. This isn't a sentimental recollection of shared moments. It's a cold, calculated assessment of your past utility. They may compare the supply you provided to that of current sources, and if they are experiencing a lull or dissatisfaction elsewhere, the memory of your consistent, in their eyes, provision can become a tempting phantom, a reminder of a well-worn, reliable tap. This thought process objectifies you, reducing your entire being to the function you served in their self-validation system. Secondly, they secretly think about you in terms of whether you still hold any potential for future narcissistic supply or control. For a narcissist, a past source of supply is rarely truly discarded. They are often kept on the back burner, consciously or subconsciously, as a potential fallback option. They might periodically check your social media, inquire about you through mutual acquaintances, or even engineer seemingly accidental encounters to gauge your current emotional state and assess whether you are still susceptible to their influence. Their thoughts might revolve around how easily they could reel you back in if their current sources of supply dwindle, or if they simply crave the ego boost of knowing they still have power over you. This isn't about wanting a genuine relationship. It's about maintaining options and ensuring a safety net for their fragile ego. They see you not as an independent individual who has moved on, but as a potential resource to be reactivated when needed. Thirdly, a A narcissist is likely to secretly think about you in relation to the narcissistic injury your departure inflicted upon their fragile ego. Your decision to leave, especially if it was a definitive act of no contact, was a profound blow to their sense of omnipotence and control. They may still harbor resentment, anger, and a burning desire to win the breakup narrative. Their thoughts might be consumed by fantasies of revenge, of proving they are better off without you, or of somehow punishing you for daring to reject them. Even if they appear to have moved on publicly, the wound to their ego can fester for a long time, fueling a secret preoccupation with you as the one who dared to challenge their self-proclaimed superiority. This isn't about missing you. It's about their inability to process the loss of control and the damage to their carefully constructed self-image. Fourthly, a narcissist secretly thinks about you when comparing you to their current and future sources of narcissistic supply. Their minds are often engaged in a constant, often subconscious comparison game. They might evaluate their new partner's ability to provide supply against your past performance, looking for areas where the new person excels to validate their upgrade or falls short, which might trigger nostalgic thoughts about your specific brand of supply. You become a benchmark, a reference point in their ongoing quest for the perfect, endlessly validating source. This isn't about genuine affection for either you or their current partner. It's about a transactional assessment of who best serves their needs at any given time. You remain a mental yardstick, a measure against which all others are judged in their internal supply-driven calculus. Fifthly, a narcissist may secretly think about you with a sense of possessiveness and entitlement, viewing you as someone who belonged to them, even long after the separation. Their lack of healthy boundaries and their belief in their own superiority can lead to a persistent feeling that you are, in some way, still their property. They might feel a sense of indignation or even rage if they perceive you as truly happy or thriving without them, as if you are somehow violating their ownership rights. This isn't about love or longing, it's about a deep-seated sense of entitlement and an inability to recognize your autonomy as a separate individual. In their mind, the discard was their prerogative, and your moving on successfully can feel like a personal affront, a theft of what they considered theirs. Sixthly, a narcissist might secretly think about you in terms of the potential for smear campaigns and maintaining control over the shared narrative. Even after a long separation, they may still feel the need to control how you are perceived by others, especially within shared social circles or among mutual acquaintances. They might continue to subtly or overtly spread negative rumors or twist stories to maintain their victim narrative and paint you as the problematic one. Their thoughts might revolve around damage control, ensuring that their carefully constructed image remains intact and that your version of events is discredited. This isn't about genuine concern for their reputation, it's about a pathological need to control the narrative and avoid any accountability for their past behavior. You remain a potential threat to their carefully crafted illusion, and they may continue to actively work to neutralize that threat through manipulation of public perception. Seventhly, a narcissist might secretly think about you when they are experiencing a narcissistic crisis or a significant lull in their supply from other sources. During times of personal insecurity, professional setback, or relationship difficulties with their current supply, their thoughts might drift back to you as a familiar, albeit perhaps more challenging to reactivate, source of validation. The memory of your past devotion or your predictable responses can be a tempting comfort in times of their own internal turmoil. This isn't about missing you as a person. It's about a desperate reaching for any available lifeline when their primary sources of supply are failing them. You become a nostalgic echo of past validation, a mental crutch to lean on when their carefully constructed world feels like it's crumbling. Eighthly, a narcissist may secretly think about you with a sense of unresolved competition, especially if they perceive you as having moved on and potentially outshining them. Their inherent need to be superior and to win can fuel a persistent, even long-term rivalry. If they see evidence of your happiness, success, or new, healthy relationships, it can trigger intense envy and a renewed desire to one-up you. Their thoughts might revolve around how to demonstrate their superiority, either directly or indirectly, and to diminish your achievements in their own minds and to others. This isn't about wanting you back. It's about a relentless need to feel like they are winning the game of life, and your success can feel like a personal defeat to their fragile ego. Ninthly, a narcissist might secretly think about you in the context of their own deeply ingrained repetition compulsion, a psychological pattern that drives them to endlessly revisit past relationships as a part of their cyclical, predictable, and pathological behavior. Narcissistic relationships, as you now understand, are not a linear progression of a shared human journey, but a series of distinct phases that follow a predictable pattern. The euphoric high of idealization, the painful descent into devaluation, and the final brutal act of discard, or being discarded. Even after a long separation, the narcissist's mind does not find a healthy, peaceful resolution to this cycle. Instead, they might compulsively and without genuine reflection revisit past cycles, including the one they shared with you, not out of longing or regret, but as part of their ingrained dysfunctional pattern of relating to others. Your relationship, for them, is not a memory to be cherished, but a script to be replayed. In their minds, they might engage in a cold, almost clinical analysis of what worked for them during your time together, what didn't always from their self-serving perspective, and how they might need to approach things differently if they were to attempt to re-engage with you or someone else like you in the future. This is not about personal growth, self-improvement, or a true understanding of their past mistakes. It's about a pathological replaying of familiar scripts, a mental rehearsal of their manipulative tactics to ensure a more successful outcome for themselves next time. You are not a person to them. You have become a character in their ongoing self-centered drama, a permanent and ingrained part of their dysfunctional relational patterns that they cannot seem to escape. Their obsession with you in this sense is simply the unfortunate result of their psyche being trapped in a repetitive, damaging cycle, and your role in it is to be a ghost in their machine. Finally, and perhaps most disturbingly, a narcissist might secretly think about you with a lingering sense of fear that you will one day reveal their true nature to others. If you were deeply enmeshed in the relationship, you likely witnessed their mask slip countless times. You know the truth behind the charming facade. Even after a long separation, the narcissist may harbor a subconscious or conscious fear that you will eventually expose their lies, their manipulations, and their cruel behaviors. This fear can fuel a persistent underlying preoccupation with you, a need to monitor your activities and control the narrative surrounding the relationship to protect their carefully constructed public image. This isn't about missing you, it's about self-preservation and the constant anxiety of being unmasked. You represent a potential threat to their entire false self, and that threat can linger in their minds indefinitely. In essence, the narcissist's thoughts about you after a long separation are rarely, if ever, rooted in genuine affection, remorse, or a healthy understanding of the relationship's end. Their thoughts are almost always self-referential, revolving around their need for supply, their wounded ego, their desire for control, and their fear of exposure. Understanding this crucial distinction can be incredibly liberating, allowing you to finally let go of any lingering hope for reconciliation or any belief that you still hold a place of genuine care in their heart. Their thoughts about you are simply another manifestation of their enduring pathology, a pathology that has nothing to do with your worth or your journey towards healing. If understanding these hidden thought processes of a narcissist after a long separation has brought clarity to your own lingering questions, if it has validated the unsettling feeling that their potential thoughts about you might not align with healthy human emotion, please remember this fundamental truth: their internal world is vastly different from yours. Their thoughts about you are not a reflection of your value or your impact on their life in a meaningful, reciprocal way. They are a reflection of their own enduring psychological needs and insecurities. Armed with this crucial enlightenment, you can finally release yourself from the mental tether that might have still connected you to their perspective. Their potential thoughts, their lingering fixations, are not your responsibility, nor should they hold any power over your current peace. Focus your energy entirely on your own continued healing, on nurturing the healthy relationships in your life, and on building a future that is truly yours, free from the manipulative pull of the past. Their secret thoughts are just that, secret and ultimately irrelevant to your well-being. Thank you for joining us today, for bravely exploring these complex psychological dynamics, and for taking another powerful step towards your own complete and lasting liberation.